resellers, welcome back to another riveting reselling podcast. Today's date is April 12th, 2023, and this is episode number 108. My guest is Tiffany, who lives in the Pacific Northwest. A few announcements. MJ sent me this email regarding last week's podcast with Jane. She said, I loved this last podcast with the pizzeria lady and the free stuff. That was awesome. But at the end, when you did the cat thing, meow, my dog Riff hopped up out of a dead sleep and looked out the window. So I'm sorry for waking up your dog, MJ, and sorry to freak out anybody else with the cat sounds. But I know how you feel. This happened to me the other day. I had Law and Order playing on the TV in the background and was working on taking pictures and heard this weird squawking sound and thought, what is that noise? Is that an injured child outside? No, it turns out it was a cockatoo bird on the TV. So I got faked out too. And the exciting news is that the 2023 BOLO book is for sale in my eBay store now, starting today. So get your copy as soon as possible so you can start learning about and looking for the 125 items in this issue, which is our third edition. The link to my eBay store is below. Okay, now for the conversation with Tiffany.
Hello, listeners. Today we have Tiffany with us. And where are you located, Tiffany?
I'm in Kalama, Washington, which is close to Portland.
Okay. All right. So what's your weather like today?
Oh, cloudy. It's been cloudy forever, but yeah, it's getting warmer.
So what is your temperature supposed to reach?
I have no idea. Probably
50s, 40s?
No, 50s, I think. It doesn't get real cold here.
Okay. So it's 56 right now in South Carolina.
Okay.
So,
probably about the same.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? That's Pacific Northwest.
It sure is.
I have not visited there, but I will someday.
Well, I still want you to do the thing in Hawaii, you know.
I know.
I mean, I was so disappointed when that got canceled.
So were we. And for the listeners who don't know, that was back 2017, 18, when I was doing workshops in different cities. And we thought, let's go for broke here and schedule one in Hawaii. You know, if you're going to go somewhere great. So we did, and we just couldn't get people to commit. That was the problem. You paid right away. You were first one on board. I think 3 people paid, and it just wasn't enough interest to make it happen at that time.
Oh, I had my Airbnb booked and everything. Like, dang, go to Hawaii and go thrift shopping together. How fun.
I felt so bad about that, but maybe it can happen in another way at another time, you know. I'm open to that. So, that was right after I did a video with Brian, who lives in Hawaii. And he was explaining all of the, people don't ship here. They don't understand that, we don't have as many options as people on the mainland. It's hard to get things, and things are more expensive, and, all of that. And then he shared his business and where he shops and everything. And I was like,
yeah, they had like 7 Goodwills in Honolulu.
I know. I was like, we just need to go there. And then, COVID happened and people weren't traveling, and it just kind of went away, like dissolved into the ethers. Like we just didn't do it. So maybe someday we'll keep that in mind. But yeah, it's coming from the East Coast and getting to Hawaii and staying there for long enough to do the workshop and all of that. That's that's a lot. So
Yeah.
we'll just see what happens. But anyway, are you from Hawaii?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I'm from Michigan.
So was there a connection for you? Did you have family there, or you just wanted to go?
Not at all. I just wanted to go.
Okay, well, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have put that to rest. And again, my apologies for canceling that, but just sometimes things just don't come together the way you want them to.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Okay, so let's start with the first question of how did you get involved with eBay? What brought you there? When did you start?
Okay. We have 4 adult children now, but when they were younger, it was kind of a romantic idea to have a home business. You can do your business while they're at school and make my coffee and da 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 da. And I didn't do anything at that time. And then as they were older, I tried a couple things. I tried essential oils. I tried some real estate thing. And I wasn't willing to do what it took. There are people that are very successful in those things, but I wasn't willing to do that. So I was introduced to a teaching around 2012 that was really emotionally helping me, and I wanted to go to some workshops and seminars, but that would take from our family, but basically from my husband's income, and that didn't feel really fair to try to ask him to keep going to things.
And a lot of those home businesses back at the time, so what are you talking, late 80s, early 90s?
Oh, mid 90s and
mid 90s. Yeah. You had to buy a starter kit, to do Pampered Chef or 31 bags and all those parties, candlelight, all that stuff we went to for our, you had to buy a starter kit, which some of them were over $500. That's not cheap.
Well, with the oils, I didn't have to buy anything, but it's still the process of setting up meetings and going out and doing this and that. And so I told him I wanted to find some work. And I saw this listing in probably Craigslist about helping someone with their eBay. And I had bought a few things on eBay, but I'd never sold anything. So it turns out, among 24 people they interviewed, I got the job and learned how to create listings.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady was interesting. So husband and wife team. And from the beginning, she said, I'll bet you'll do this on your own at some point and you'll stop working for us, which I did end up doing. But I worked there about 1.5 years. And so I would, make the listings and sometimes go find the product that they were going to ship out. I didn't do the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So she told me about you. And then I started watching. Yeah.
Okay.
It was so great. I don't know when I would have found you if she hadn't said that.
Interesting.
So I started listening to you and that other couple, Ryan and Jay on the East Coast.
Yes.
So listen to all of theirs until they stopped doing theirs.
Well, and just a side note on that real quick. The podcast with Zach, the garbage man philosopher.
I don't know him.
That actually came out today, and we are recording this on March 29th. But I think I said at the beginning of that there weren't any eBay podcasts, and I want to retract that because yes, Ryan and Jay, they had one of the first ones, and they stopped doing it probably in the fall of 21. Because they have
because they were focusing on the coffee shop and
their Airbnbs and their coffee shop, and they just hustle it. So I do want to apologize for not remembering that, but I did listen to them too, and they were very helpful. Yes.
Oh, that helped me with a lot of brands, and sometimes I would look in their store to see what they sold and how much, because they would talk about those things.
And it's funny that you mentioned them because after that recording yesterday with Zach, I was like, I wonder what they're doing now. And they do still have their blog, and they show their stats by the week, how many things they listed and sold and their net income. And they're up to almost 10,000 items now.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
still doing eBay. They're just not doing the podcast, but they
I
just,
didn't know they're still, I was watching their blog for a while too. I had joined that, and
yeah. So they still put their
yeah.
stats out there, which is interesting to watch a store that big and how much they sell.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, okay. Sorry, I digress.
No, that's okay. So that was after about a year and a half, yeah, I decided just to go. Oh, what started it was another lady that worked there at this warehouse with me. She I bought this cloisonne trinket box or something for 25 cents at a garage sale. And she sold it for me for $100. I thought, holy smokes, this is amazing.
That opened the door to what is possible.
Like, exactly. And so then January 1st of 2016, I thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to start my own and see where it goes. So then when I started to have some consistent sales, we had a garage that was unfinished. And my husband and I agreed to make the investment of putting full shelving in on two sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I have tons of storage now, including, our one of the guest bedroom closets is all the men's clothing, and the other bedroom closet is a lot of the women's, and one whole bedroom is all inventory. And he made me keep one guest bedroom just for guests, which I agreed to. So I cleared out the closet from there.
That's what I do. I have a room just for guests because I have boundaries for my eBay stuff. I mean, the closet in there has stuff in it, but the room is clear.
Well, so we have one whole bedroom. I mean, not full. There's a lot of boxes and stuff in there too, but these shelves in the garage full of totes and books and this and that. And then our house has kind of two living room areas. So about 2 years ago, we made the large living room area my office. So I really do have a lot of the house.
Uh-huh.
But and I have a lot of items right now. I have where is it? 2061.
Really?
So people might think I'm nuts, but I'm long tail. We have the space.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've got my $75 store subscription, so who cares? And I do go through, I let go of things, but, you keep thinking someone's going to want that Oklahoma mug. Someone's going to want that 1960s geometric floral coat, and ultimately maybe they don't, but keep
it's
hoping.
Just, you've done the work. That's what prevents me from culling my inventory too often. It's like, well, I've already done the work. And if it showed up in your send offer workflow, then people are looking at it. You're just one step away from selling it if they're looking at it. Right. So I just hate to give up on things, and people too soon.
Yeah.
Just like I found it, I did the work. And like you said, if you have whatever level store, it just makes sense to wait. And as time goes by, as Ryan and Jay always said, everything sells eventually.
It does. Yeah.
I have sold things.
And then we have a local buy nothing group in our town. So sometimes I will call some things. Rather than take them to the thrift store, which we have a bunch of, I'll just put it up on there. Does anyone want this random assortment of stuff?
Right.
And sometimes they don't. And then I'll take it to the thrift store, but try to give it to someone that's going to actually want it before just, dropping it off somewhere. 2,000
plus items.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want to know, with that many items, how many do you sell a day, a week?
Well,
average?
Usually something every day, 1 or 2 or 3 every day. Today there's one. Yesterday there was none.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of amazing how it builds up over time. I was looking at the store numbers, and since January of 2016, I've sold 8,600 items. It's really incredible.
2016.
Since 2016. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
8,600 items. It's amazing to me.
And it's amazing how all those little actions just add up over time.
Yeah, they really do. So I have probably 1/4 of it is women's clothing and shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the random little bit of electronics or car parts, dishes, playing cards, uh, old calendars, just, whatever you see that you think someone's going to want this, that's what I pick up if the price point is right.
Mm-hmm.
Now in our area, there's one, we have the Goodwill bins within an hour. There are 2 of them. So I could go to those any day I want.
Okay.
I don't go that often. But I load up every time I go. It's a cart full, quilts and whatever. There's one store close to us that still has some $1 items, but everything else, even the Goodwill is their lowest is $1.50 now. Like they have the half price, and then the next week it goes down to $1.50.
Okay.
So lots of opportunity, and like America is just a land of stuff. It is incredible. Even when the stores closed down for a few months, I put out something on Facebook. I said, I'm an online reseller. If anyone has something they would be taking to Goodwill, but they're closed now, I'd be happy to pick it up from you. And I got a bunch of donations that way,
That's a great idea.
Free inventory, and friends give me stuff, and our kids have given me stuff, and yeah.
Well, and I found the biggest problem with Goodwill, or thrift stores in general, if you go in and it's like, where's all the stuff? There's just, are they not stocking the shelves? It's lack of employees. It's the human side of it, where you can see in the back, everything's just mounded up.
Mountains in the
and
back.
The line of cars donating.
I know.
Like, why does this store look so sparse? What's happening? And that's what they'll tell you. The managers or employees are like, we just don't have enough people to put it out. In fact, I was at a Goodwill a few weeks ago. It's in a little town outside of Greenville, but and none of the hard goods had prices. I was very confused.
Oh, that's weird.
Like, why is this not priced? So I get up to check out, and they're like, well, we are testing a new concept for Goodwill. Everything in the hard goods, it's $4 at the beginning of the week, and then Friday it goes down to $1, and then Saturday it goes down to 50 cents or something like that. And then they start over the next week, because then they don't have to have people to price the items. They can still get the stuff out. And of course, it was in the beginning of the week where everything was $4. And I'm like, I'm not paying $4 for that.
But they didn't have a sign up telling you that was the new
no. And I'm like, shoot, I'm coming back on whatever day it's the lowest price, because anything back there is going to be that price, even if it was just put out. So I was
like
just
paintings and needlework pictures,
all the, like the hard goods, like the kitchen stuff,
plates,
and breakables, and all that, the Christmas stuff. And I thought, I don't like this. I hope they don't do this in all the stores, because, well, you just adjust. You just go on the days it's the cheapest, which everybody else is going to do too. But I was like, I don't see this working. I see y'all still having too much. It's who wants to pay $4 for, things they know they can get for 50 cents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We have I found out we have a senior center in the town next to us that has a rummage sale the 3rd Friday and Saturday of every month.
Oh,
and
nice.
I keep forgetting to put it on my calendar, but holy smokes, on Saturday from 12 to 3, a bag of clothes is $1. Like, are you kidding me? And I loaded up last weekend, I guess it was. I didn't bother going on Friday. They do this every month. And everyone's just volunteers there, and they're very sweet. And so that's something I need to remember.
That's when you just get as many bags as you can, and then you go pull over somewhere and you sort it, and then you go straight to another thrift store and drop off what you don't want. So you don't even get home.
Well, I'm not that organized. I just take it all home and then I sort through it. But yeah, and I was at a garage sale a few days ago. A man had a whole huge lot of woodworking magazines, all for free. There must have been 200. I said, I'll take them all. And I already sold a grouping of those for $20, and then I finished finally putting up all the listings yesterday by magazine title and stuff and stuff like that. I mean, people have no idea. I always say people have no idea what could make money, but they don't have to want to do what we do.
And you have to have that voice in your head, not that I'm hearing voices, but it says, I wonder if someone will buy this, because sometimes you just don't know. The only way to find out, and people ask me this all the time, do you think someone would buy this? And I'm like, you just got to put it out there and see. Who knows? Time.
It's amazing to me that anyone in the world with an internet connection can see the thing I put up for sale. It's just unbelievable, the platform that we have. And I don't do any Poshmark or Etsy or anything. I just do eBay.
Have you ever tried other platforms?
No.
I get that question all the time. Like, why don't you sell on Mercari? Why don't you sell on Poshmark? And well, I sold on Amazon from 2009 to 2013. And then I did Etsy in that time frame to try it for vintage items. And I just didn't feel, Amazon got really complicated and a lot of people.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that. Yeah.
And then Etsy I just couldn't get any traction. And then I just decided in 2013, I'm just going to be eBay full time. That's where my heart is. That's where my experience is. And I just don't think any other site is ever going to have as many buyers on it as eBay. So you have to pick, you can only spread yourself so thin. If you're selling on 5 sites, kudos to you, but it's a lot to keep track of.
That is a lot. Yeah, that's really a lot. And the thing is, with Amazon being so huge these days, everyone will have a link. This is available on Amazon. And I always tell people, look on eBay first. Support this. Of course, on Amazon, there will be small sellers too, but support the little home business like me. So I'll always go to eBay to buy something first.
I did that this morning. Yeah. I'm reading Burt Reynolds' book. It's just at the library, and I just go to what I'm attracted to, like what I'm drawn to. And I was like, oh, I bet this is interesting. So yeah. And now I want to buy it and have it forever because it's so good. It's like, I'm going to read this every year because he's just so genuine and everybody loved him. And anyway, so yeah, I went on eBay to see, I wonder how much it is. And it's like $4 with free shipping.
I know.
Used paperback. And then I went
They're
on
practically
Amazon.
Losing money.
I went on Amazon and the lowest one was $14. And I'm like,
wow.
No, I'll buy it from, I thrift books, or that's usually where it ends up because theirs are so cheap. But yeah, it's I always want to support the eBay community first if I can.
Yeah, me too.
It's just what we do, and we should. So I digress there. See how I told you this, the conversation just goes where it goes. So enough about what I'm reading, but let's talk about some of your sales.
Some of my sales. Okay. My highest was at this, there was a local online auction, and there was this listing for $5 or $10. And honestly, I didn't know what they were. They looked like golf clubs or something. No one else wanted them. So I bought them maybe for $10. There was a box of 5, and then there were some others or something. I know I didn't pay more than $20 altogether. Turns out that they're thermal sensors for like geoengineering people. And I listed the 5 for $2,000.
Really?
And one day I was at my mom's house, and I got a ka-ching for, they were offering 700 or something. I told my mom, oh my God, what do I do? Do I counter offer, or do I take the 700? And I countered at 875, and they bought them. So then that box of 5, and then there was those other ones also sold for a 200 or 300 or something. just not knowing what something is, but okay, let's give it a shot and then we'll learn about it. So
And how
that
much did
was
you pay for those again?
$10, not more than 20 for all
Mhm.
of them.
So
Maybe 10. Yeah.
turning $10 into almost 900.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool. And I never do the free shipping. So they paid for shipping. It was heavy.
And something
Um,
you didn't really even know what it was.
I didn't. So when I went to pick them up, I asked the man who runs the auctions. I said, "What do you think these are?" He said, "I don't know." So then we looked them up, and then I got an idea um, that they were valuable. So I think that was my highest. Um, there was some kind of computer cord that sold for maybe 450. I
What?
just couldn't believe it. I don't even remember what it was. It was a long time ago. Some kind of cord for something electronic.
You're channeling your inner Casey Vetterly and Brian Rappaport, who sell
Oh
stuff
my
like that.
gosh,
And like,
Casey and Ryan.
you don't
No,
even,
man.
most people are like, I don't even know what that is.
I don't, well, I don't
Like,
do
oh,
electronics.
it's
Yeah,
this cord to this thing that's whatever. And
it was kind of that was a one of actually. But then there was so that those bathrobes, the funky bathrobes, I can't remember the brand.
are you talking about the canyon robes?
Yeah.
They're very thick pile and they have
Yep.
fun things like
Exactly. I think mine
Okay, yes.
had dogs and fire hydrants or something.
Uh-huh.
Got it at that senior center rummage sale,
Okay.
for $1, whatever. And I put it on auction starting at 100, and then I think 7 days. And literally in the last 1 minute, it went from something like 250 to 299 or 200 to 250, something like
Oh
that.
gosh.
So, and I learned about that from you. So that was a
I
good
was going to
one.
say that was in one of the BOLO books because
Uh-huh.
this is a very specific canyon robe that Fran Drescher wore on the Nanny TV show.
Okay.
And it's called the wedding cake. And you can look it up and see it's because the pile and the design just looks like a wedding cake. It's very ruffly sort of, but these robes have a very specific, I guess they're terry cloth texture.
Kind of, yeah, big loops.
Yeah, they look like a
big
bath
loops,
mat
right?
almost.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you don't do sleepwear, you could just go down the sleepwear aisle and just look for that texture without having to look at every single thing. And it's just one of those big, thick terry pile bathrobes, but it has funky things on the back.
I saw that. I thought, oh my gosh, I found one. That was my
That
first
is
time
amazing.
seeing
I haven't found one yet. That's on my holy grail list.
Yeah.
With that
So that
darn
was-
IKEA vase. I got to find that.
Oh, no, I found the IKEA vase.
See,
So a few
why
weeks
does
ago.
everyone find this except me?
No. My experience is different. So at another online auction locally, the vase was there. The Holy Grail vase was there. I got it for maybe $5, listed it for 300, up and down with the price, didn't sell for 2 years.
Really?
Everyone else, really. Finally, somebody in Italy, of all places, offered me $50. I thought, okay, this is risky to ship it to Italy, but I want it gone because I'm tired of hoping that I'll get $300
Right.
for it.
Was it the pink one or the black
It
one?
was the pink one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
maybe at the time you had it, there was more of them on eBay and it was a supply and demand thing.
Yeah. I'd been hoping for more, but anyway, it is what it is. You still make a profit and you hope it gets there without breaking. And I haven't heard anything. So I'm assuming it got there. Okay.
So, you sold it recently?
Yeah. It was a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So then some other stuff that I've sold, things that we think our children are going to want to inherit, but then they don't necessarily. So
Yep.
stuff like, memorabilia from you're part of some church or some organization or whatever. I had quite a few things like that. And I've made hundreds of dollars on those things, and some friends that, used to be part of something, but aren't any longer. That's my situation too. there aren't many people that will want this, but the ones that do really want it, it's not going to get returned. It's very specific.
So what are some of those items?
Oh, things like some certificate from some event or something that was kind of like an award or a speech, the program from the event,
Okay.
or things that people wear for certain ceremonies, like all that kind of stuff. Things that like I thought would be a historical thing for our family and for our lineage, but we're not in that any longer. So I put those up for sale, and nobody else is selling that stuff.
Really?
So I've made, yeah.
That is
So
very interesting.
I've made a lot of money on that stuff.
So one thing comes to mind, when I was in high school, my gymnastics team participated in the 1982 World's Fair in Knoxville. And I have all the stuff, just we went around to the different, what do they call them? They're not booths, but exhibits. And I have all these different things and pamphlets and flyers. And, they're in my scrapbook. Like, my kids aren't going to want that. They don't know anything about it. I pull that out and look at it every now and then just to reminisce, this happened like 41 years ago. And so that's, or like Junior League is big here in the South.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Uh-uh.
It's like an organization that was for high society people. And it's almost like a sorority for grown women that they would do things for the community. They have thrift stores to raise money, and but they would put out a cookbook every year. And so, I mean, it goes back to, I think, the 50s. I don't know when the Junior League started. I was never in it, but my mother was. And so things like that, or if it's a cookbook from a specific church.
Oh, exactly. Yep. Cookbooks from churches or stuff from the Masonic lodges, Elks Club. I've sold a lot of yearbooks too. I still have quite a few, but the highest yearbook was UCLA, something like 1933, in a big, huge yearbook, and it sold for $75. But I've sold a lot of them for 20, 30, 40 because.
Do you know if that UCLA yearbook had anyone famous in it?
No, I didn't try to look because there were lots and lots of pictures. But I do have one. I have a yearbook from the Oregon Agricultural College and Linus Pauling, who won 2 Nobel Prizes.
Yes.
This is something like his 1921, not his, it's the yearbook from when he was there and his pictures in it. So someone recommended I put that up for sale for $500 after they saw my listing, but that hasn't moved yet. So
well, and I think as time goes by, it may get more valuable. I mentioned this before, that my mother came to live with me for a while when after she had hip surgery, when I first started eBay, and we just kind of worked through her things because I knew it would fall on me at some point in my life. And we sold her University of Alabama yearbooks. And she was there when Bear Bryant was there. So a lot of pictures, in the sports section of him. And so they sold for about $80 a piece.
Nice.
So yeah, it takes a lot of research to figure out, is anyone famous in this yearbook? If you don't.
Oh, I had one from Princeton where Queen Nor of what country is that?
I think it's Jordan.
Yeah, Queen Nor had gone there. I said, I don't know. I don't see her picture in here anywhere, but I looked it up. She was a student there. I think it was Princeton. So, and that one sold. So, I try to put it in the title or something if I think there's a connection, but if I'm not sure, I'll say I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, I just Googled that. Queen Nor of Jordan, born 1951. So, yeah.
Yeah, wow. So like 1971, she would have been there or something like that. Right.
Yeah, very interesting.
Like that. And then, so that's some of the fun sales. And then free stuff. So free stuff like we have these teeny pine cones all around us, and I gathered some teeny pine cones. You bake them in the oven to, what is it, like disinfect them or
Yeah, to
to
kill
kill the
anything
bugs,
inside so there's no
kill
bugs.
anything.
Right.
Yeah, and sell those for crafts. Plum seeds. We have one plum tree in the back with these golden plums. And a few years ago, I thought, well, I wonder if anyone would want to buy the seeds because they're completely organic. And I've sold lots of seeds. So yeah, so I sell. I wash them off and dry them out, and then a bag of 20 seeds for $10. And I've
Mhm.
sold probably 10 or more bags of those. And it was so exciting. One buyer commented, they're starting to sprout. So, and they're in
Okay.
Texas. A lot of buyers in Texas for the
Huh.
plums.
I wonder what that's
So,
about.
I mean, nature is so amazing. If one of those seeds becomes a tree, you have plums for life.
Right.
Absolute plums for life. Just one of them.
Huh.
So things like that, kind of think out of the box.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, and you don't know until you try.
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
you
What
know,
have I got to lose? They're
what do
already
we
here. We're
have
already.
here? Those, I think they're called sweet gum balls. They're like very spiky. It's a little ball. They fall off the trees. It's this spiky
Are
thing.
they red?
No, the road
Oh,
just covered with them when they
okay.
fall
Yeah.
off. And it's like, I wish there was a market for those because I would go around and pick those up all day. Like
Yeah.
maybe I should look into that. But yeah, pine cones, I've done that. Because what you see every day, everyone else in the world doesn't see the same thing.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
somebody in
true.
Arizona wants to make something out of pine cones, and I don't think they have them there.
Yeah. I think I only sold one box. I got a few boxes together. I only sold one, but anyway, it's worth a try.
We tried it.
Just
Yeah.
give it a shot. Like, what is it? Do you say throw it up and see if it sticks?
Yeah, throw it to the wall, see if it sticks, and then
Yeah.
you'll know. It's like, okay, well, it's not failure, it's just learning. Like, okay,
Yeah.
move on to the next thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was another
This-
thing people were
Mm.
selling here were magnolia leaves, like from the
Oh,
magnolia tree in the fall when they're dry and fall off. Those wonderful for crafts.
wonderful. Yeah.
But we just have to keep thinking and keep trying new things. And it's great if you can figure out something that's local to you that you can sell worldwide.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what else? I know you've posted a lot of things on the Money Making Mondays. Okay. Well, what about complicated things for shipping? Do you go there? Do you care?
I've done a few paintings, framed paintings with glass.
Mhm.
That's tricky. I do some, but at least one time I told the buyer if I remove it from the frame and just send it in a poster tube, it'll be easier for everyone. Do you want to go that way? And he said yes.
Mhm.
So it was in a very nice frame, but oh my gosh, that was big. So
Yeah, that's pretty time consuming.
I have this one. Oh yeah. By the way, in my opportunity pile at the moment, I have let me see. I have 78 items plus a whole bunch of jewelry that
Mhm.
I have yet to list. I have a big Navy. Oh yeah, I sold a Navy aircraft helmet one time. That was kind of fun, kind of different. Sold for $40 or something.
I've sold the helmet bags that
Yes.
they used to carry them in. Bob, who was in my life for 15 years, he was ex-military. So he had an eye for stuff like that. And it just looked like this green, it was like army green, and it was just a padded, like a tote bag. I'm like, what is this? This is the weirdest shape. He's like, oh, that's a helmet bag. You should fix that. Yeah, this was at his home. We were going through his stuff.
Oh yeah.
He taught me a lot about like military things you can sell.
Parachute silk. I've sold parachute silk, which is actually nylon, it's not silk, but
yeah.
Big pieces of that. Yeah, but various military things. Oh, a really fun one was another online auction, they had these marching band hat cases. Oh, no, the hats and they were in a drawstring bag, each one.
Mm-hmm.
So I got all of them for $10 or something, like 32 marching band hats, probably from the 70s, with the tall kind of feather thing in the front and everything. A man in Sweden ended up buying maybe 10 of those. I think they all sold for 20 each, and for costumes, whatever. So that was a fun one, kind of along the line of military or uniforms.
Yeah, uniforms. And it's interesting. I know I say this every episode, but all these movies and streaming series that are set back in time, and they need props. It's so much easier for them to just go on eBay and find it and pay whatever than to recreate it. Like have somebody, artist, sit down and figure out how to make, or a costume designer, figure out how to make one or two of these things they need. So that, and people on the group talk about it all the time. Oh, this went to Universal Studios, or this went to Paramount, or, this went to Hollywood. And so I think that's just going to continue as we go on into the future, is all of these items from previous decades are going to have more value.
Yep.
But yeah, you got to wonder, well, how did that end up in the thrift store? Or was this a garage sale? Or like, where'd you find those marching band things?
Yeah.
How did it get there? Why did
I figured it must have been from the local high school, some dinky town on the Oregon side. They were clearing out their band stuff or whatever, and somehow this auctioneer friend got all of them, and like, I'll take those, I'll give that a shot. And they all sold within a couple of months, like 35 of them or something, one by one.
Yeah, but you have to have the mindset of, oh, I need to rescue that so I can sell it. Because it's just the average person does not think that way. They're just like, cleaning out, I'm moving, we don't need this, nobody's going to want that. Or their mind doesn't even go to reselling, and here we come along just looking, everything we look at.
It's like, always a dollar sign.
How much can I sell this for?
I'm not going to give that away. I can sell that,
I know. It's really interesting that we're all humans. We're all kind of wired the same way, but yet we're not.
My mom had my mom is 90 now, but she had this one tea set that someone in her, retirement home, they were giving away their stuff, and she put it in her little cabinet. And I don't know, I asked her if I could have it, and I told her I was going to try to sell it, and she said yeah. And it sold for $100 within a week. Some Russian teapot and a few cups or something that blue something or other pattern. Yeah. And so I told her I'd give her commission, so I sent her $10 or $20. Thanks for giving me the teapot. It sold.
Yeah. And you wonder how many people have experienced house fires and floods and hurricanes and all these things that ruin your possessions. And they're just trying to get a little bit of that nostalgia back, looking for one online. And when I went off to college in 1984, my mom sold all my stuff at a garage sale, things that she figured I didn't want anymore. And one of my treasured items was probably an 18-inch tall Snoopy plush, and he had all these different outfits. And I used to put I was a teenager. I got it when I was younger, but I just loved Snoopy. And he had this blue onesie pajamas. I would put his pajamas on him at night. He had like a Christmas outfit and a 4th of July outfit. And I just loved that Snoopy. And I came home, and him and all his clothes had been sold at a garage sale. And I was like, no,
you didn't ask me.
So, yeah.
I think I asked the kids, if they want anything before I let it go. Some stuff I
Right.
know for sure they're not interested in, but other things, I'll ask them.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. It was just, I look for that Snoopy when I'm out, because if I find the one from the 80s, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll keep an eye out for your 18-inch Snoopy.
Yeah, there's a lot of him out there. I've seen him a lot of times, but it's not the older one. But anyway, and that kind of goes into like doll clothes, and there's such a market for all these like Barbie clothes and doll clothes. American Girl was way after I was little, but those clothes can sell for a lot. It's just, everything has a price tag on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the thing that's been so gratifying for me is finding a home business that works for me. It just works it's still fun. It makes money. Now, 2022 was a good 30% lower than 2021, my overall sales. We just turned in our tax paperwork yesterday. But anyway, it's still going,
Yeah. Yeah. And I looked back at my records, and 2020 was one of my best years on eBay in recent years. Just people were shopping online because everything was closed. And then some places opened up, and I sold athletic wear like crazy because everybody's like, we're getting outside. We're going to, go to the park, and we're going to go jogging, and we're going to, group fitness opened back up, and all of that, where people were just ready to get out of their homes and be active, or in their homes with all these YouTube channels that started for exercise.
Pilates DVDs.
Yeah. And I remember finding a yoga girl on YouTube that I loved, and, did that at home. And so it was a very different dynamic, I think, that will never be replicated ever again. Just it was like the perfect storm of all these factors that.
Oh, during that time, I posted, on your Facebook page, like, this is just the perfect business to be in. We already have inventory. Most of us have unlisted items. It doesn't matter if the stores are closed. I can still get free stuff. I can list the stuff that needs to be done. I can go through and get rid of some things. It just felt perfect to me. I didn't have to go anywhere. And I still went, I still went out a lot, but such a feeling of gratitude.
Well, and then there was all the supply chain stuff. You may have something already listed or in your pile that somebody wants, and it's out of stock. The retail stores couldn't keep anything in stock.
I went to the dollar store and bought some elastic hair bands that people were using to make masks, and I sold those. I bought them for $1 and sold them for like a group of them for $20 or something, just for a short time. But, look around the dollar store. What's someone going to want?
Yeah. And it was mind blowing how much people were buying, and just how much I was shipping every day. And I thought, how long is this going to continue? Let's ride the wave.
That's what I think. Ride the wave, because we don't know. I don't know how long people are going to want to be buying stuff. Do it while I can. And that's the other such a great thing about eBay is, or any online, but no age limit. I can do this as long as I'm able to. You can start when you're 7 years old, with your parents' help.
As long as soon as you understand the concept of money, you can.
Yeah. I mean, you can try to sell whatever you want. There's no age limit. You do it. You can start with a little shoebox in your closet as your inventory storage. It can go all over the world. There's so many pluses to this. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah. And I know people who do it, and they're in their 80s.
Yeah.
As long as you can do the basics on a computer, you can figure this out. It's pretty easy. And people ask me all the time, when are you going to retire? It's like, I can do reselling until I'm just no longer able to physically do it. And then I'm going to figure out a way.
Mhm,
It's like,
mhm. And like so
I
many
can't-
people, when you travel somewhere, my husband knows very well by now that if we go anywhere, I'm gonna want to stop at a thrift store if there is one.
Mhm.
I have to kind of clench my jaw if we pass one and I don't say anything. No, just let it go. We're on a trip, just don't ask him to stop.
Well, and I feel like I have this idea for a business when it's needed, but like, those, they're like community buses, or the assisted living has a shuttle that takes people out
Right.
errands because they can't drive. It's like,
Mhm.
you need to figure out one that's just for eBayers that, goes to this thrift store route, and, they come
Right.
back and get you, and, it's $25 a month, and you can have a free you have a pass, and you can go around to the thrift stores, and then they bring you home, and for extra $10, they'll even unload it for you.
Yeah.
It's like,
And we drop you off at 9 and we pick you up at 10 sharp. You better be there.
right. It's like eBayers Uber for thrifting, garage sales,
Gosh,
whatever, and it's
fun.
enough vehicle where they can fit a bunch of stuff in there
Right.
to bring you home. So if it gets to the point where I can't drive anymore, maybe I'll invent something like that in my area.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you'll hire someone or something. Yeah.
Or at least do it on senior day, because a lot of those people are not resellers, but that's their outing for the week. They like to go and get stuff and shop, and it's cheap, and they're on a fixed income and all that stuff. So the wheels are turning on that, so that I never have to quit. I can just do this forever.
Yeah.
Because as you said before we started recording, or maybe when we did, there's just an overwhelming amount of stuff out there.
There really is.
Nobody can get it all.
Uh-uh.
And we're just touching the tip of the iceberg on what we do get.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, the opportunity in this. And reselling's been going on since man started walking the earth.
Right. Yeah.
Here, I found this great rock. Do you want it? You can have it. Trade me for your wife,
On Tuesdays, every Tuesday I get her.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So anyway, so you have 2,000 items.
Yep.
That is just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I know people might think I'm nuts, but whatever. We're all different.
No, I don't at all. I commend you on that, because it's hard to build that inventory. Every time you get to like a threshold, you sell a bunch of stuff, and it's like a monkey climbing out of a well.
I was up to something like 27. I thought, okay, this is crazy. So then I started really getting rid of some stuff.
Do you run
So just over
sales?
2,000. Yeah, this month I did a 40% off on all women's clothing. So that's moved some things out.
Okay.
I did in December, I did 50% off on everything in the store. Like, let's just try to clear out, because I keep buying, I keep accumulating.
December was great. I sold
December was good. Yes.
Yeah.
I had something like maybe, well, I don't know what, maybe almost 200 during that 1 month, maybe almost 200 sales.
Yeah.
So I might play around more with with the sales. I don't do it all the time, but yeah.
Okay. So what are your look for items when you're out in the world?
Oh, just
categories, I guess I should say.
I don't. No, I'll look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's too big, I probably won't bother. I don't do furniture.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay, that white coffee mug that has Tiffany's on it. Okay, yes, I'm gonna get that one, and gold lettering, whatever. Just anything that I think someone might want. I went to there's a store that has a bunch of the booths, like the consignment booths, a few weeks ago. And the day when I was there, they were doing everything is $1 unless it's marked. So I picked up a bunch of these Madonna calendars from the 90s. I grouped those, and then a person asked, would you sell just the one? So I said, okay, I'll do that. And then I just redid, the listing.
A listing, right.
But a bunch of stuff from there, just it's just anything that I see, I think someone will want. It can be housewares, it can be clothing, shoes, needlepoint pictures. Just almost
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I got these magnetic toolbox tiles, like it'll say wrench or screwdriver or something. I got a huge bag of those for $10, and I've made probably at least $300 on those. Just stuff like that.
Just
Like, who
random
knows?
things. Now,
Yeah.
what was your professional background before you got into eBay?
I don't have one. I'm not a college graduate.
Uh-huh.
Raised 4 children. I had a few jobs here and there. I worked for a chiropractor for a while, and just I can't even think, but a bunch
Well,
of
I mean,
stuff. Nothing high level.
being a mom of four is, like being the CEO of your house. Just
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Well, and my husband works on ships, so it's a lot of his career has been he's home or he's gone.
Right.
So when he's gone, then it's just me, and the kids are all close together, but it all worked out fine.
Are you an
But
empty
yeah, I don't
nester?
have a professional background.
Are you an empty nester?
Yes, our youngest moved out probably 6 years ago.
Oh, okay. Right around the time you started then.
Yeah, a little bit. I started in 2016, and I don't remember when she graduated. Yeah, something like that. Pretty
So
close
you
around
have
there.
the time and you can focus on your business.
I really do. I mean, my days, I have the luxury of spending my days pretty much any way that I want, but I do something with eBay every day, of course. I send out offers constantly. I'm shipping, I'm washing, I'm organizing, doing whatever. Yeah.
Does your eBay money go for anything specific or just into the household fund?
Well, for a long time, I was when I did those part-time jobs and the eBay, I was making money to be able to attend seminars. Some of these were actually outside of Atlanta, in Rome. I was going to some seminars, so the flights and all of that. And then sometimes for travel, or I'll help with the car payment, or I'll put a little more money down on the mortgage. I did create a separate account at one point, because I believe in having the joint account when your spouses or partners. But I told my husband I wanted to keep it separate, and I'm making money for this, and he was fine with it. He was really fine. So he's been very supportive in that way. And yeah. Oh, I joined a gym last week. So then, it's $30 a month. It will come from that account. It's not a business expense, but the money will come from there.
Yeah. Good. Now, what year were you born?
61.
Okay.
Wow.
So
61, and I'm 61. I never thought of that.
Oh my. Well, I asked that for perspective because so many women these days, they're raising their kids or, having a career, and then they get to be empty nesters or retired, and they haven't built anything for themselves. There's actually support groups for empty nesters. And I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
This is your time to do what you want.
Right.
Like, you knew that kid was going to go to kindergarten at 5. You knew they were going to go, they were going to graduate from college. And it's so many women just pour all of themselves into raising their kids or their career or both. And they just don't have anything for themselves. They feel very lost when, all that time of their life is over. And so, that's one reason I like to I started off encouraging stay-at-home moms to do this because, you need something for yourself. And it was a great way to make money because your kids are constantly outgrowing stuff. Right. But I love to see that women in retirement are doing this part-time or however often, because it's intellectually stimulating. You have something that's your own. And, it's very flexible. You can say,
oh, so flexible. My gosh.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go for a hike today, or I'm going to take 3-day trip to the beach or whatever it is, and you can do that. So
Huh.
um,
I've learned to, whenever we go somewhere, I just take the laptop with me and I'm still sending out offers. And I just explain to them, I'll be back next Tuesday. Is that okay with you? Like you've taught me some things
mhm,
like that, what to
mhm.
say, how to be respectful to your buyers. And what you also taught me what to say when you can't find your item, which is embarrassing.
Well, with
Or
2,000 of them, that's going to happen.
I know it has. Or you're about to ship the thing and it breaks. Sorry. That happened, I think, just one time. But
Right.
you've taught me things, what to say.
Oh,
And
good.
I thought I had that listing. It might have been my mistake that I had 2 listings up or eBay glitch. I'm not sure,
Mhm.
but I don't have that. Would you like something of the same value and I'll ship it for free? Do
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, you want to
Do you want
try
a refund
to
or
keep that sale and just offer them a substitution. And if they say, no, I really wanted the whatever, then you can cancel per buyer request because they've told you they don't want another solution. So it's not
exactly.
just going into a panic when you can't find something and canceling the sale. You never want to do that. This for the listeners. I know you know this. You never want to do that because that's a defect. So you always want to say, explain what happened. And, we'd love to offer you, I offer them more, something of a higher value than what they purchased. So if they bought something for 25 and I can't find it, I'm like, oh, you can choose something that's up to $35 and, give them a little bit more because they're being inconvenienced, but then you
Right.
lose the sale. So
I mean, people understand as long as we're honest, people are very understanding and people are forgiving in most cases.
Right. So, well, would you believe we are to the end of the hour?
My goodness, we are.
I told you that would go by fast. Do you have any final words for maybe women in your same situation, kind of in retirement, approaching retirement, getting started?
I would say if this seems like something that will be fun for you, give it a shot. You just start with one item and you go from there and you don't expect sales right away. I remember Jay and Ryan used to say, get up to 500 items before you judge whether this business is going to go or not.
Mhm.
And don't get a store until you have at least 100 or 200. But look around your house first, of course. At some point, get the thermal printer because that's been my best purchase, the thermal printer. The lady, Dr. Lori, for learning about jewelry. I've learned a lot from her. Yeah, I would just say if it seems interesting, give it a shot. You don't have to keep going with it. It's so flexible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not an all or nothing, and you can come and go from it. If some crisis happens in your life, you can put your store on hold or put your listings on hold or whatever it is. I get this all the time from people who leave eBay and come back 2 years later. My mom had cancer. I was her caregiver. I couldn't do this, but I'm back now. And so you really can come and go from it over time. Well, we're going to wrap this up because now the landscaping people are outside and it's going to get
Okay.
loud. So thank you so much for coming on, and we will watch for you on the Facebook group.
Thank you, Suzanne. This has been fun.
Great. Bye.
Bye-bye.
It was so nice to finally meet you after all these years, Tiffany. I really enjoyed our chat. Today's trivia question, since Tiffany mentioned Linus Pauling, not to be confused with Linus Van Pelt, what did he win the Nobel Prize for? Here's a few seconds to think about it. Okay, in a brilliant series of articles, Pauling established the basis for understanding protein structure. In 1954, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Chemistry. 9 years later, Pauling was awarded the Nobel Prize for his work against the use and proliferation of nuclear weapons. So he was a science guy. His degree was in chemical engineering, and he received 47 honorary doctorates. So now you know about this famous Linus. Maybe the only famous Linus you knew before this was Linus Van Pelt with his blue blanket, part of the Peanuts gang. Next week, my guest is Anne, who was an eBay early adopter and wanted a home business so she could stay at home with her young children. She has stayed committed to eBay through the years and is very successful, as well as fun to talk to. Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. Thanks again for tuning in every week. I appreciate you. Keep moving forward, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.